Hey, this is Emoji, and I wanna do. I have this. I've been working on this idea for quite some time, and it was hard for me to come up with a good way to formulate it. So, yo, look at this! It's a beautiful day, like sun for the first time in weeks. Like it's been gray and rainy around here. Lots of flooding and stuff. But hey, so Runeslinger posted a really good video about a DAO of play. And so I felt like because it resonated with me because we played together in the Vale, and I was supposed to play in the Circle Van with them. And I don't remember exactly how we came up with this idea of recording a reflect. It might be one of his ideas, or maybe he's been doing it for a while. I'm not sure exactly, but what I recall is that we always used to have these long talk after post game. It was kind of like a way to reflect a little bit on the game and everything. But what we did in this group is we added another reflection video, and sometimes it was public. I think mine were not, because I kind of posted them on the group. So we had this we always have these long discussions at post game, live, and then we have another reflection video a couple days later, sleeping on it and everything, and creating this kind of discourse, this discursive practice. It's a really in the DAO of play, Runeslinger can't stress it enough. By the way, thank you for bringing back the Holy Trinity of RPG into the discussion. I was kind of like, I was laughing out loud. I kind of like created these videos here a little bit down that road at the same time of year, like a couple of years ago. And so yeah, so the idea is that the first principle of the Holy Trinity of RPG is the talk to the players. And I mean, what I realized when he was talking in his video is that we can't stress that enough. Like it's like his DAO of play is basically you read, you play, you evaluate, and then you discuss. Now if you take a good look at that, I mean, actually like 2 out of 4 are driven by talk to the player, are about talking to one another. Putting aside play, because it is talking to one another, but it's not necessarily talking about the game, because you keep that for the evaluation kind of thing. But and when you talk, the only thing that is not about talking is reading. But actually, when you talk in the evaluation and in the discussion cycles, what you realize is that you talk about what you read, and you talk about what you say in play, and how you say it, and why you say it, and when you say it. And then the thing is that on top of all this process that they are going through now in Circle Vans, that we went through in the Vale, and on top of that we vlog about it. And so we talk more about it. It's been so for me, and what I was listening to him, and what I realized is that it might be the what he proposed, his DAO of play, or the DAO of learning RPG, is might be the optimal method. Like you can't go around that. I mean, having a good read, having a good read is important, necessary. Then, and he actually, I mean, he goes even further. He's basically also saying that you should read more than once. And this is something important. Like for some people, big readers. For all of you out there, big readers. If you read novels, or if you read scientific stuff, or if you read essays and stuff like that, what you realize is, even poems, what you realize is that it's like movies. You read once, you get the gist of it. Pieces are gonna be, you're gonna miss a lot of things, and then you read it twice, and then it's like, whoa, what's that? And you get all the missing part kind of thing, and you get a better overall picture and everything. And I mean, our RPGs core books are the same. I mean, RPG books are the same, and a lot of people, I mean, once you start to get I had this experience in Burning Wheel. We played so much. We played like a couple times a week, and for a long period of time. And what I realized is that, I'm still reading the books. I received the new one, the corrected, the Ultimate Gold Edition version with all the erratas and the the cleaning and the streamlining and the stuff. And I'm reading it, and I still find new things, and still realize that I was not doing it the right way, and all that. So I mean, RPG is the same, and it's like, and so in the reading process, so is that of play. Why I say that it's an optimal way of it might be the optimal way of learning is that you start with a good read, and then you play. So you do your session 0 and everything, and then you play, and then you evaluate the play, and then you discuss about the game when it's over, in order to reflect on what you've learned. And another thing that I realized in his video is that he's, how can I say that, like learning, we all, all human beings are learners. This is what we do. It's like we learn to walk, we learn to speak, we learn rules, we learn to behave, we learn theory, skills, and it takes a long time. I mean, mastery is never attained. You can see that in martial arts. It's the best way to go about it. Like the student's gonna be teaching the master one day, right? So mastery is never attained. You reach a point where, obviously you have certain fields where it's so mathematical that you just go through the motion, and but there's always going to be a better way. There's always going to be a better way. There's a great book about that in philosophy, on the story of mathematics, where like there is some problems in mathematics, and there's always a guy, every century or so, comes out of nowhere with a better way to do it. It's mathematics. I mean, some people think that there's only one true way in mathematics, but even in mathematics, there's a new guy coming up one day and it's like, hey, I skip that step, I do that instead, and it's shorter, it's more elegant, and it's there's less space for mistakes. It's easier to teach, and it's like, oh, okay, so we're done with this one, we'll go about with this new way to go, and there's a paradigm shift and everything. So mastery is hard to attain, and so he's mentioning in his video at one point that it's important to go to actually go through with the things. Like, so for example, when we played a Veil, we played 9 sessions over more than a year, I think. So we played every 2 months kind of thing, so on average. And so there was part of this process where we were not playing at all, forget about everything, and we had to go through, and then we went through a few sessions really quick, and so for me it's and it showed that we, even toward the end, like we were still struggling with the game. and it's not necessarily like such a hard game to learn or everything. It's just that there is more than what is written, and there is a, you know, this whole the praxis, right, the way to go about it, and then this is the next video, you know, ideology. And so it's, I didn't want really necessarily to make a two-parter, but this is something that I need to address, and I want to address. So anyway, just for me it's really like the reason why it's such an optimal way to learn this Tao of play proposed by Runeslinger. It's because of all the reflective, like it's a little bit like it's really organic. You know how an organization in nature is really basic. It's the same for everyone. So you have, if you take for example the most basic organism, which is the eukaryote celluli, if I'm correct. So basically what it does is like it opens its membrane and let something in. Every organism is the same. So we open up our membrane. Membrane is the finite limits of the body, the organism. So the cellula is the smallest, and the biggest organism is the same. So humans, so we open our mouth, or we open our mind, we read. So we take something from outside, put it inside, and then we metabolize it. And then by this process of metabolism, we reconstruct ourselves. And that way we move forward. And so this is what life is basically all about. So you take something out, you eat. So the metabolism is gonna take everything, the nutrients, and it's gonna repair itself, and it's gonna keep going until you die. Until this organism used all his resources in such a way that nothing outside can come in a way that it can repair it enough, kind of thing. Or you know, where you get a disease and then it doesn't manage to go around it, right? In the process described by Runeslinger, it's the same thing. You read, so you take something out, put it in, then you utilize it, you play, and then you address it by talking, evaluating, and discussion, and all that. And then you tweak and change the things enough. So it's the same thing when you try to eat for performance, right? So when you eat for performance, you don't eat everything. You eat what you need for that specific performance. It's basically the same thing. The play is what you have to do. So you read, you take what you need, and then you discuss. So you metabolize it, and then when you come back, you better. You know, you better. So it's this structure, this phenomena of organization, you know, this principle of basically that is everywhere in life, in trees, in plants, and animals, and humans, and it works the same way. And the reason why I think it's optimal is because it reflects that. It reflects that idea of taking something that is not ours, making it ours in such a way that we can do what we want to do, right? So yeah, man, so thank you, listening. It's a great video. It's really inspiring in the process of keeping on learning RPGs. Now I wanna discuss a little bit more about ideology in RPG. All right, talk to you soon.